All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. I'm so happy you're here. Oh gosh, I'm so excited about this class. I have to be honest, I was a little hesitant when I created this, thinking, oh, I don't know how this is going to land, but I've got lots of really great responses. And so I'm really excited to share with you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I've got a little presentation for us. And then we will get started. We're going to jump right in. All right, let's go here. Okay, so welcome to Prepared Over Panicked. There's been a lot hanging around in the media these days about some stuff going around, and so I figured we would just spend some time together on this lovely Saturday and chat about some natural tools that we can use for immune support. Of course, those of you who follow me on social media or are part of my oil community know that a lot of this is about essential oils, but we also have a lot of other things too that we can incorporate in order to really feel empowered in our homes and feel like we can kind of just be the CEO of our healthcare to take care of our friends and family members naturally, even in the face of what seems to be like a lot of hysteria and a lot of fear happening. So I want to preface this class by saying you do you. Everyone is on their own healthcare journey. This is just tools that I have developed and implemented in my life over the last several years of really focusing on natural healthcare. But this is not a space of shame or judgment, and we all have to be able to feel empowered with whatever choices we decide to make, right? So you do you. Here's me doing me. And if I can help in any way or answer any questions, please feel free to let me know. So here's kind of what we got working today. We're going to talk about some prevention, so basic prevention tips. I've got some oil spotlights for you, supplement chats, and then some other tips and tricks. So I want to start by sharing this quote with you because it really resonated strong with me and I thought it was really awesome. It says, "The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet and in the cause and prevention of disease." And I'm sure you've heard a million times, like prevention is worth a pound, 1 ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, different things like that, right? Not to say that modern medicine doesn't have a place in our lives, and it absolutely does. The reason I am so passionate about sharing natural healthcare is because we can totally integrate all these different tools in natural health with the more allopathic Western medicine that many of us are used to practicing, at least here in America and in most developed nations. And we can blend the two together without having to compromise the integrity of either one, which I think is a really beautiful model. And personally, I really feel the shift in our culture specifically that it's trending more in that direction, and people are becoming more open-minded, and we're asking the questions and we're diving into like, okay, how can I try to solve this naturally on my own first before potentially turning to some medications that might have some, unfortunate side effects or things like that. So a lot of our conversation today is going to be focusing on prevention. So just how do we stay healthy when we already are? But please know that you can take all these same tools and apply them to those moments when you are having a compromised immune system and you're not feeling super healthy. And they will definitely help in some ways to support your body through its natural healing processes. The human body is really amazing. If there's anything I've learned in this journey, it's that we don't give our bodies enough credit day to day. At least I don't. I don't walk around thanking my body for, making sure that my lungs are taking in oxygen and my heart is beating and my kidneys are functioning well, right? But it's really incredible what our body is able to do, especially when we give it the tools that it can recognize. So I think one of the reasons why essential oils have really taken the world by storm in many ways in the last couple of years is because we're starting to understand that our bodies more easily recognize things that come from the earth, that come from nature, that are carbon based just like us, versus things that are maybe synthetic or produced in a laboratory. Not to say again that those don't have their place, but it's really cool when we can rely on some tools first that our body naturally gravitates towards and knows what to do with right away. It's really, really neat. It's magical what happens when you start to implement these in a consistent way in your life. So because this is such like a hot topic, I had to share my 2 favorite hand washing memes that have been floating around the internet the last couple of days. I'm a huge Jason Momoa fan, and this one says, "Wash your hands like you're washing Jason Momoa," and I just love it so much. Wash your hands like you've been chopping jalapenos and you need to change your contacts. I need to make one for all my essential oil customers that says, "Wash your hands like you just put on deep blue and need to go to the bathroom." But anyway, I promised on social media that I would not talk about hand washing in this class because I trust that all of the people who are following me in my space know how to wash their hands. This is just kind of your little reminder to make sure you're definitely washing your hands. And when I was teaching in the kindergarten classroom, we would always teach the kids to sing the ABCs twice when they're washing their hands. And I would also tell them not to forget their thumbs. And so when you're washing your hands, just make sure you get your thumbs in there too, just as a fun little reminder. Okay, so let's dive right into some essential oil support. Here are what I call the heavy hitters for immune support. So this is going to be something that you're going to want to use if you are maybe doing a ton of traveling right now, if you've got someone in your life who's been compromised, if you are just feeling honestly really anxious and you want to be doing something more proactive, you could totally start here. This isn't necessarily something you need to do every day all the time, but if you are already feeling some anxiety around everything that's happening and doing something, putting something into action would help you to feel more at ease and more at peace, then by all means, go ahead and do this. That's the other beautiful thing about using natural tools, is the worst side effect is that you might smell like pizza. That's typically what I smell like when I travel, because a lot of the essential oils that we use for immune support and respiratory support and things like that are more herbaceous. And so I have been told by several people that I often smell like pizza when I come to visit them, but that's okay. There are worse things I could smell like, I suppose. So oregano is one of the top heavy hitters that I gravitate towards when we're feeling like we might be getting under the weather or doing a lot of traveling. You're going to apply this on the soles of your feet and your spine. You could also take it internally in a veggie cap. I will caution you, oregano is a hot oil, so you want to make sure you're diluting this. And if you're going to be using it on kiddos, I don't recommend the use on kids under the age of 5. And definitely make sure you're diluting it extra for little people's skin, just because it's a really warm oil and their skin can be very, very sensitive. There has been a lot of controversy around like how often I can take oregano internally in a veggie cap. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to chat with you about that. But honestly, trust your intuition, right? If you feel like you need to take oregano every single day for a month because your immune system feels like it's compromised, or because of whatever you do for work or your life, like traveling all the time makes you feel like you could use this, then trust your intuition that your body's going to know what to do with this particular essential oil. Melissa is another huge heavy hitter. She is the queen of oils. Melissa is derived from the lemon balm plant that has been used in, all kinds of natural medicine for literally hundreds and hundreds of years. So what I like to do with Melissa is actually put a drop on the pad of my thumb and then press that to the roof of my mouth. It goes directly into the limbic system, helps with emotional support as well. And also you're getting it internally in the bloodstream pretty quickly that way. You can also apply it to the soles of the feet and the spine. It's very, very lemony. So it almost has like a supercharged lemongrass kind of an aroma and a taste to it. Rose is another heavy hitter. It is the highest vibrational essential oil and substance on the planet, which is really, really cool. So everything has a frequency, right? That it vibrates at, and rose happens to be the highest, which is really neat when we talk about like emotional support, particularly because it's going to help us feel more high vibe, literally, but it also is really great at immune support. I'm so sorry. My dog is choosing right now, of course, to be really, really needy. Anyhow, it's also a natural aphrodisiac, which is really neat, and it can help to regulate hormones if that's something that you've been struggling with as well. Okay, so On Guard Plus is the last one here on this list. These are actually soft gels that doTERRA has created for us. They have the On Guard blend, which is our proprietary immune support blend. And there, with that, there's also some Melissa, that oil we talked about in the second list here, and black pepper. And when you combine Melissa and black pepper plus our On Guard blend together, it's really, really great for general immune support. So I would take this daily as a prevention, especially during seasons when there's a lot happening, right? And then you want to take it more often when you're feeling under the weather. So if someone in your house has the crud, or you feel like you've got it coming down, I personally like to take one like every couple of hours, especially that first 24 hours when you know you've got something working in your body. And it will really help to shorten the length of time that you're not feeling great, and help your body to just naturally heal itself. Okay, so other tips for some daily prevention. Here's 4 more oils that I personally use every single day. Frankincense, the king of oils, my favorite oil. It's like the jack of all trades oil. Frankincense does pretty much everything, but I really love it for immune support. So daily, just do a drop under the tongue, super simple. I happen to keep my frankincense next to my toothpaste, so that I'm reminded every morning and every evening when I brush my teeth to do my drop of frankincense under the tongue. You could also put it on the soles of the feet, along your spine, and pop it in your diffuser just to help purify the air and improve general immune support. Lemon is probably one of the oils we use the most in our house just because it's super versatile. I mean, a lot of them are, but lemon for sure. It is a natural detoxifier, which is really great and something we want to be focusing on every single day, no matter if there's a lot of like, you know, pathogens and things buzzing around in the air or not. So you can put it daily in your water or your tea. I actually start every single morning with a cup of warm water and a drop of lemon before I even have my coffee or any food or anything like that. Helps to wake up the digestive system, and we'll talk about gut health and why that's so important for your immunity here in a second. You could also put this on the soles of the feet and the spine, pop it in a diffuser, add it to your cleaning products, right? There's a whole host of things that we can do with lemon to help the detoxification and the cleansing process. On Guard, like I mentioned, is our protective blend. It's got rosemary, clove, cinnamon. It smells like fall in a bottle to me. Like if someone could just bottle the scent of fall at a craft fair or something, it would smell like On Guard. It's incredible. So I use this daily in my personal care. So in my hand soap, my toothpaste, my mouthwash, my hand sanitizer. doTERRA's hand sanitizer is 99.9% effective against surface germs and things like that. So everyone is kind of running out right now and buying lots of hand sanitizer and the shelves are empty and whatever. So if that's got you triggered or nervous, get yourself a bottle of On Guard and some alcohol, some ethyl alcohol. 64% is antiseptic. So you can pick that up. You can make this for pennies on the dollar. It's super cheap. It's more effective. It's non-toxic. It won't harm your respiratory system or your skin. And most of the time it's more effective than improper hand washing or improper use of hand sanitizer in and of itself. Again, you could also put this on the soles of your feet and your spine. I use On Guard to make all my own cleaning products in my home as well. I haven't purchased a cleaning product in over 6 years, and it's been great for my wallet, but ultimately my body has thanked me time and time again for reducing some of those added chemicals and things like that that I used to be putting in, on, and around my skin all the time when I was cleaning. Last but not least, we have our Zendocrine blend. This is doTERRA's detoxification complex, and so, or detoxification blend. So the name says it there right in of itself. It's going to help to support that endocrine system. Okay, so think of it as your natural filtration system, all of those organs that help to filter out the gunk. I like to put Zendocrine in my water. I personally really love the taste of it, but a lot of people don't. So if you don't worry. You can pop it in a veggie cap and take it internally that way. You could also put it on the soles of your feet, over your spine, and especially over your kidneys. Now, I would dilute that if you're going to put it on topically, especially if you're going to be in the sun. I know it's still pretty chilly in most places, but there are some citrus oils in there, and that can be a little photosensitive. So just dilute it, put it over the kidneys. This is also a really great one to add into a detox bath or foot soak, which I'm also going to give you the recipe for here in a sec. Okay, gut health. You know I talk about gut health all the time. It's what brought me to doTERRA and the natural healthcare space in general. But in terms of immunity, I need you to know that actually 70% of your immune system is housed in the lining of your gut. So if your gut health is off, chances are your immune system is not going to be functioning at its optimal place, okay? So if you are not on a probiotic, whether it's the doTERRA probiotic or another one that you have found that works for you, please get yourself one. If there's anything you take away from this entire class, I hope it's to wash your hands like you're washing Jason Momoa and get yourself on a probiotic. I recommend that you take it at night, especially on an empty stomach, because that way it actually has time to work while you're sleeping. And again, we'll chat about sleep here in a quick second. But when you are taking it in the morning, that probiotic, especially if it's not double encapsulated, which is why I love the PB Assist from doTERRA so much, because it is, most probiotics are actually just dissolving in the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, and they're not actually getting down into the lining of your gut and your GI tract and your intestine system. So taking it at night on as empty of a stomach as possible will really help you to see better results. Again, if you need to and you have a hard time remembering, put it by your toothbrush or something that you do every single night. Put it by your diffuser. Is it going to clutter your counter a little bit? Maybe, but if it will help you to stack that habit on top of something that's already existing, it will help you to stay more consistent with it, and that's going to be really key, especially when we talk about immune support. doTERRA also has a kids version of the probiotic, which is really, really cool. So kiddos as young as 2 can take this. You want to maybe split it in half for 2-year-olds, and then you could give the full, it's like a pixie stick. And so they can either just put it in juice or applesauce or something, or eat it by itself like a pixie stick. It's sweet, it's watermelon flavored. I bring these with me when I travel because I like to double up on my probiotics when I'm traveling. So I will actually do my probiotic at night before bed, and then I'll take another probiotic of the junior, the pixie stick version in the morning, and again in the afternoon. Granted, I have a lot of gut health issues, so extra probiotics are always good for me. But that would be something, if again, you're going to take one thing away from this, it would be that. This dog. I'm so sorry for all the background noise. Okay, let's chat briefly about food as medicine. So there's a lot of talk in the natural healthcare space on like using food to help support the body in different ways. And I know there's been so many like diet fads out there and people saying, oh, you should eat for your blood type and you should eat keto and blah, blah, blah. Whatever you choose to do that works for your body is great. But there are a few foods that can improve and also suppress the immune system. So that's what we're going to talk about today. A few foods that I would start integrating and getting into your diet like yesterday, especially right now with everything that's going on in the world, are citruses of any kind, bell peppers, broccoli, garlic, especially if you can get fresh raw garlic and mince that up and swallow it if you're brave enough. I have a fire cider recipe for you too that I'll share that includes that. Garlic is super, super powerful. It's really, really high in antibiotic properties, which again doesn't help you with necessarily a virus, right? But it can help just to support the immune system overall. Spinach, really, really high in lots of different vitamins and minerals. Almonds and sunflower seeds. I believe it's magnesium that sunflower seeds are really high in, if I remember correctly. So they're gonna be really good for us to kind of have as just a snack. Papaya and kiwi fruits, any kind of pickled or fermented foods. And again, that's because you've got those probiotics in there. So maybe even yogurt, if you can tolerate dairy, or get yourself some sort of a non-dairy yogurt or make yourself one. And any kind of healthy oils. I don't mean essential oils, but like healthy plant-based oils. Pumpkin seed oil, avocado seed oil, they're really, really great for helping the lining of our gut, and as well as assimilating the nutrients from our food into our bodies, which we really need to have if we're going to be leveraging our nutrition as medicine. Some things that suppress your immunity, and hopefully none of this surprises you, but it's good to have a reminder and just to kind of take a peek at what you're eating, especially right now in this particular season, and what you might be willing to carve out or put aside, at least until everything kind of blows over and you're feeling better, or the world itself is feeling better. Soda and energy drinks, full of sugars, full of lots of synthetics. We don't want to have those in our body when our body is already combating so many environmental threats. Caffeine. So this might be a hard one for some of you. Consider going half calf on your coffee in the morning if you're used to having that, or get a tea that might be a little bit lower in caffeine than what you're used to. So try to cut down on the caffeine use. Processed foods. So my favorite little saying is read the ingredient list. If your great grandmother wouldn't be able to recognize all of those ingredients as food, it's a processed food, right? So we're going to be trying to eat more whole food. So I recommend that you go into your pantry today, pull out something from a box or a bag, read the ingredient list. And if you can't pronounce it and your great grandma wouldn't recognize it as food, it probably should go, or at least be put to the side for now until everyone is feeling better. Refined carbohydrates, again, a lot of that is just going to be processed foods. Alcohol can actually also be an immune suppressant, largely because of the sugars in there and because it does tend to tax our organ systems. So that might be something just to keep in mind. Any artificial sweeteners, so like aspartame, that type of thing, really hard in the endocrine system, and we're going to want to make sure that we're bolstering that as much as possible. So I have people all the time let me know, like, okay, well, I cut out soda and I switched it out for diet soda. As your oil fairy and personal health coach, I would rather you drink actual soda than diet soda, because the artificial sweeteners in there are so hard on your organ system. Okay, so if you have to have the soda, switch it out and have one actual soda rather than having 3 of the diet. Okay, don't worry as much about the calories. Let's pay more attention to the ingredient list. And also any kind of refined oils. So those like your canola oils, vegetable oils, things like that you want to maybe decrease use of in this season. Elderberry is a big thing. Lots of people have been talking about elderberry and making syrups. And I had seen something online that like Whole Foods was bought out of elderberry syrup. So figured I would give you a little brief chat about why it's kind of taking the world by storm and what the big deal is about. Elderberries itself are very high in antioxidants and also really high in vitamin C. So we can actually use them when we are sick to reduce the length of time that we're not feeling great, or excuse me, just to help our immune system kind of build itself back up. It also helps to inhibit bacteria growth, which is really cool. And it helps to increase white blood cells. A lot of that is because of those antioxidants that are in the elderberry itself. What I want to make sure you understand is that elderberry berries and stems are actually poisonous. So don't go out and order a bunch of elderberries, dried elderberries online and like eat them. That's not going to be good for you. But what we can do is make a DIY elderberry syrup like the one pictured here. There's lots of lozenge recipes out there. You can make your own gummies with elderberries. You can just do a YouTube or a Google or a Pinterest search. There's tons of recipes out there. I make elderberry syrup in my Instant Pot. just because I make most of my life in the Instant Pot. But you can do it on the stove. It's really simple and it makes a bunch of it, which is super cool. I did look on Amazon 2 days ago for elderberries and they were sold out. So maybe you want to try your local health food store if you can find some dried elderberries. Or, you know, a lot of these other companies have actually just produced elderberry syrup that you can purchase on over the counter. Okay, girl, take your vitamins, or guy, whoever happens to be watching this. So again, this is like a super basic thing, but I feel like I talk to so many people who don't understand how important high quality supplementation is. And what the reality is that we have, through our agriculture processes and things we use on our food systems and everything over the last several hundred years, we've really depleted our soil. So even if you're eating a whole foods based diet, you're eating the rainbow, you're getting your recommended number of calories and vitamins in from your food every day, chances are, excuse me, you are not meeting, you're not surpassing that RDI, that recommended daily intake of a lot of key vitamins and minerals. And also it's important to know that that RDI number, that, you know, like, okay, you need X number of milligrams of vitamin E every single day, is just a recommended daily intake to survive as a human being in the world. So if we want to be thriving and feeling really good in our body and fighting off infections, we need to be supplementing. I personally love the Lifelong Vitality Pack from doTERRA because it's #easy button for me. It comes in 3. There's a cellular vitality complex, a regular like essential oil food multivitamin complex, if you will. It feels dirty even saying that though, because it's so much more in depth than that. And also an omega complex. So I just purchase them all at once. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to go out and buy like 100 different bottles of things. But of course you totally can, or speak with your nutritionist, but definitely make sure you're supplementing with whatever that looks like. Vitamin C can also be another good thing to add. I recommend getting lipospheric vitamin C. It's just vitamin C that's been encased in like a bubble of fat, if you will. And it helps to increase absorption when we take it internally in the body. So you can get that on Amazon or at most health food stores. Echinacea and zinc are both really, really great for supplements as well. And I meant to put on here, ashwagandha is another really good thing you might want to do. So you can find that in like a lot of these mushroom-based elixirs, like mushroom coffee and things like that. You can just take ashwagandha by itself as a supplement, but that one's also really great for helping to support the immune system. Also super good for like memory function. So if you don't have that one in your toolkit and you're looking for one more supplement to add, try ashwagandha and see how that works out for you. Okay, so detoxification. There are some things we can be doing every single day, but we can always amp up when we need to speed along our body's detoxification processes. One of my favorite things to do is do a detox bath. I don't have a bathtub anymore because I live in an RV. So if I'm not traveling somewhere with someone who has a tub, then I just do a foot soak. I have a Home Depot bucket that I've used. This is a picture of me sitting on our counter in the RV doing a foot soak in our kitchen sink. So make it work for yourself. No bathtub, no excuse. This is what I always tell my essential oil customers. So find a way to either soak your feet or soak your body in this little recipe here. Now, this recipe that I posted is designed for like a bathtub. So if you're doing a foot soak, you could just adjust the ratios down a little bit. It's just Epsom salt, baking soda, apple cider vinegar, fresh grated ginger. So again, you're not going to want to use your ginger essential oil or powdered ginger like that you might get in the spice aisle, but actually go to the produce section and ask for it if you don't know what it looks like. Ginger looks like a little troll toe to me, kind of like a little root, and you're just going to grate it. I have a microplane that I just grate right over the sink or the bathtub, whatever that looks like for you, about 1 tablespoon-ish. I don't really measure, but just do that. And then 4 to 6 drops of oils of your choice. Make sure you're adding your oils to your Epsom salt or your baking soda before you're putting them in your water. Because if you just put them in the water, they'll kind of float on the surface and they won't really assimilate with all the other good things that you've now put into this detox bath. Forewarning, drink a ton of water when you're doing this. So before, during, and after, because you are going to sweat. So part of why we use the ginger in a detox bath is because it helps to naturally heat the body. So you'll find that you could be like sitting in a bathtub in a pretty chilly room and just beads of sweat are rolling down your face. It's almost like a poor man's infrared sauna, if you will, in a way, because it's going to help you to sweat all of that out, which is really great. But we want to make sure we're replenishing all the liquids that we're losing. Dry brushing is another really awesome detoxification tool. You can grab a dry brush on Amazon or just about anywhere. You want to make sure though that when you are dry brushing, you're brushing towards the heart. Okay, so sometimes I'll see people post online, they have their dry brush and they're going this way down their arm or this way down their legs. That's going to cause It could potentially cause some edema, some swelling, because what you're doing is pushing all the fluid from your lymphatic system down into like your fingers and toes and places where it can't flush out as easily. So what we want to do is actually brush up towards the heart, towards the trunk. Dog, I see you. I'm so sorry, guys. She's old and cranky, and she's having a hard time standing up because the tile's so slippery. Anyway, brush towards the heart so that your organ system can filter all of the toxins out of your lymphatic system that you've just brushed away. If you need more information on dry brushing, just do a Google search or a Pinterest search, and there's tons of graphics and videos to show you how to make that happen. Infrared saunas are awesome. If you don't have one, look on Groupon. I get my infrared saunas there pretty much exclusively because there's almost always a spa that's offering a deal. Really good for sweating it out. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. All the water, half your body weight in ounces every single day. Add an extra 10 ounces if you're trying to fight something off. And last but not least, move your body. Any kind of sweat that we can create, even if it's just minimal, 20 minutes of a walk around your neighborhood, 20 minutes of gentle stretching with your yoga routine, whatever that might look like. Move your body, get things moving around in there, and that should help with the detoxification. Here's a recipe for fire cider. Feel free to screenshot this, and I will turn this into a post on social media and a blog post as well, so you have access to that. Super easy. Basically, you just combine all these ingredients together, store it in an airtight container, and then take about 1 to 2 tablespoons a couple times a day. I just put it in a little shot glass and take it like a shot. There are lots of recipes out there. Some include like horseradish and jalapenos. So you can totally, choose your own adventure. This is just a recipe that works for me. I also use turmeric and black pepper essential oils in mine, but you could, of course, just use a turmeric root and some actual just coarse ground black pepper if you wanted to. So if you don't have oils in your life, that's okay. If you don't have oils in your life and you want some, you know where to find them, hopefully. And I'm going to share with you a fun little special kit that I put together for you at the end of class today. All right, catch some Z's. So sleep is one of those things that it can be very elusive for some people. And it's also something that I think in our culture, we're often conditioned to not value because we kind of tend to subscribe to the glorification of busy, right? And I used to be that way. So zero judgment. I used to be that person who would live off of like 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night for several weeks on end. And it's really hard on our immune system. So many amazing things happen to our body at night when we're sleeping. And if we're not sleeping long enough, we're getting good quality of sleep. We're gonna see that in our immune response. So we're gonna shoot for 6 to 8 hours, maybe 9, maybe 10, figure out what you need. No screens or blue light 45 minutes before bed. This is something that a lot of people have a hard time with. I know a lot of people like to sleep with the TV on in their bedroom, things like that. And again, you do you, but please know that there's tons of science that shows that that's actually harming your sleep because it's interrupting the melatonin production that naturally occurs in your brain when the sun goes down. So if you are staring at your phone while you're laying in bed trying to fall asleep and wondering why you're having a hard time, getting some good rest, that could be it. Personally, I keep my phone like away from the next to my head while I'm sleeping, but a lot of people will keep their phones like in their bathroom or something else. Use an old-fashioned alarm clock instead if you are used to using your phone as an alarm and you're wanting to find a different solution. I also recommend getting a pair of blue light blockers. I had mine somewhere. They're really cool. I got these from a company called Baxter Blue based in Australia. They're awesome. They have amazing customer service. So these are not prescription glasses. They just have a film on them that helps to block blue light. So if I am going to be working, up until like an hour or so before bed, I will put them on, or watching a movie or something like that. But definitely make sure that 45 minutes before you're ready to kind of wind down and get rest for the evening, that you're turning off all of your screens. If you do diffuse essential oils at night, I recommend starting your diffuser an hour before you get ready for bed so that you have time to set the tone. You kind of get that aromatherapy benefit happening in your home and in the air before you are actually physically ready to enter into your bedroom or do your nightly skincare routine or whatever that looks like. It will help to start anchor those feelings of rest and relaxation into your brain when you start that process a little bit earlier. Also, maybe want to look at stopping sugar or caffeine 8 hours before your bedtime. So if you're used to going to bed at, midnight, do 8 hours back, which is what is that, 2 o'clock? No, 4 o'clock. Stop any sugar or caffeine at 4 o'clock so that you don't have such a hard time falling asleep or staying asleep. Catch some rays too. So I'm actually really thrilled because the sun is out here in Michigan today. So I'm definitely going to take a walk and go get some sunlight. Again, sunlight produces vitamin D naturally in our skin, and vitamin D is always great for our bodies. But most importantly, I did a little research a couple days ago in preparation for this, and I found a study that was done by Georgetown University a couple of years ago, and they discovered that sunlight, the natural blue light that comes from the sun's rays, actually energizes our T cells, and our T cells are in our body, and they actually tailor our immune response to different pathogens that we might come into contact with, which is really cool to me. So once we are in the sunlight, what happens is the sunlight comes in, it gets into our T cells, and there's, I believe, hydrogen peroxide that is produced in the cell once the sun hits it, and that helps kind of speed up the process so that they can get to work faster and more effectively, which is really cool. So get outside and get some sun, even if it's cold out where you are, even if it's only for 5 or 10 minutes, but help your body. And this is like free, cheap, and or completely free and very easy to do. And it'll probably make you feel happier too, which is really good. All right, so as we're wrapping up here, I wanted to share with you this fun little kit that I put together for you. If you are brand new to oils, or you have a person in your life who's brand new to oils who you know is like kind of freaking out right now and maybe open to learning more about using some of these natural solutions in conjunction with modern medicine to help protect themselves, this is a fun little immune boosting seasonal protection kit that I put together. So it's our On Guard Cleaner Concentrate, our On Guard Hand Wash, On Guard beadlets, which are just 3/4 of 1 drop of oil in a little tiny gelatin sphere to take internally. The On Guard roller, which is awesome for kiddos. On Guard hand mist, again, 99.9% effective on killing surface germs. And the On Guard protective blend, all for $150, plus 2 free gifts from me, Citrus Bliss and Cheer, because we need to keep things a little high vibe around here, right? I think that there's an awesome time and place for a healthy amount of preparedness and of caution, but there's a lot of times where I feel like we're transferring over into this fear, kind of hysteria, sort of chaotic energy that I'm choosing not to subscribe to. So one of the things I'm doing to help myself stay out of that space is using all of my happy emotional oils, and Citrus Bliss and Cheer are 2 of my favorites for staying in a more emotionally uplifted state. So this whole kit is $150. It also comes with me as your personal oil guru, access to my private community for oil education, access to quarterly, monthly, or quarterly wellness consultations with me for free, as well as a welcome packet gift to get you started, and a complimentary phone call to really kind of take a look at your health and wellness needs when you get going. So if this is you and you're watching and you're like, maybe now's the time to get started with essential oils, what do I have to lose? Or I'm interested, I want to learn a little bit more, I recommend that you reach out to me. Let's get a little bit of a chat scheduled for you, and we can go from there. But I thought this kit was really fun, so I figured I'd share it with you. Okay, I wanted to make sure I left a little time at the end of class for a Q&A today. So I'm just going to pop over to Facebook and see if we have any comments happening. Let's see. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're still here, got a few people on Zoom, which is exciting. Okay, so I have a question from someone. How long after you eat dinner does it take your stomach to become empty? Great question. That depends on you, on your body. If you are me and you're working with gastroparesis, it takes my body probably 3 to 4 hours to completely empty. I would say a normal functioning stomach is about 60 to 90 minutes, depending on what you eat. And that's a whole other conversation we could get into. There are lots of foods that tend to digest faster. For example, if you're eating melon, that's going to digest really, really quickly. If you're eating something like pork or red meat, pork and red meat both take a very long time to digest, sometimes upwards of 7 or 8 hours for a healthy, normal functioning stomach. So kind of keep that in mind. And maybe that's a fun class that we can do another day where we talk about digestion in terms of what foods to pair together so that you're not creating some bloat and things. Because imagine if you were eating like a whole bunch of pork and then melon also. I don't know why you'd be eating pork and melon, maybe at a barbecue or something together, but that's going to cause a lot of air bubbles and things. So your digestion is going to be a little off. Totally went on a tangent there, but you get me going on gut health, and that's definitely something I can jam about. Awesome. Okay, well, I think I answered all the questions. If you have anything for me later or you're catching the replay, you know where to find me. Thanks so much for spending part of your Saturday morning with me. I am always honored that I have a space to show up here in this platform, so I appreciate you. And I hope you're having a beautiful weekend, or at least a start to one, and that you all go out and stay very, very healthy and wash your hands. Talk soon.